Welcome to the Women in Wealth podcast, brought to you by Regina McCann-Hess, a certified financial planner with over 2 decades of experience. This show is for professional women who want guidance in working towards their retirement vision in learning, building, planning, striving for your dreams, and putting the work in now so that you can pursue your financial independence. Hello. Welcome to Women in Wealth. And I'm Regina McCann-Hess, host of our podcast today. And with me, I have a new friend. And Tevia, can you tell us who you are, what you do, and what you love about what you do?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for having me today, Regina. I am Tevia Hoalst. I am CEO and founder of TeKoda Accounting. And the big differentiator between us when you hear the word accounting is we're what's known as a CAS firm, customer service accounting. So we do not file taxes. So we work internal to businesses, books, bills, invoicing, payroll, sales tax, all the day-to-day things that prep you to be ready for tax, financial analytics, all the good stuff. So we're the foundation that comes in and replaces maybe what you would normally have as an in-person hire if you don't need a full-time person or you've had trouble with hiring. And what I love about our team that's a little bit different is we are culture based first, which is kind of rare in accounting. And so we do not have turnover in our team. We have a pretty extensive team, so we can cover many industries, many needs, and we build in backup for our businesses that we serve so that there's not one key holder on the information. So we come in and kind of become a part of your team and actually try to add a lot of value. So that's kind of the base of who we are and how we serve, the small business community across the nation.
Wow, it's pretty cool. I love the cultural aspect
Yeah.
because it's accounting is a hard field. I mean, it's a lot of numbers. I mean, I know you like numbers and I like numbers, but most people don't.
Yes.
And it's also a field where they you need more people because, the older accountants are retiring and there's not as many people coming into the industry. And I think by focusing on the cultural aspect, I think that could attract more people.
Yes. Yeah. I like to say it's not the sexy industry,
Yeah,
but
it's okay.
if you listen to anyone who has done anything or gone anywhere, what are we hearing nowadays? It's the boring businesses, it's the boring job, they are necessities. And
Mm.
sometimes necessities aren't flashy. We're not a tech firm, but very important. And you must get it right, or who is doing anything with the numbers?
Yeah,
Nothing that
exactly.
you want.
No, you want the numbers people to get it right for sure, for sure.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, I know you said that you appeal to a wide range of industries. Are there any, certain types of industries that you like working with better? And like what size companies do you tend to work with?
Yeah. So we have favorites, but we generally our client favorites are people that honestly resemble me because it's how I'm an entrepreneur. I am not an accountant. So I run my business very growth minded, very what does our client need? It's the same thing I need. So a lot of intunement there. So we like a client that's growth minded, that really wants to hand over what we do so we can own it and let them focus on what they do, or an executive team. We tend to work with companies about 1 million to getting up to 7 to 10 is probably like tops, that we have a few that are bigger, but those are special cases. So 7-figure firms are a good fit. We can do smaller, but it just depends on their need. So, but industry wise, I think we really like professional services, like what you're doing. It's a good fit. We are in professional services, so we really follow that path really well. But just from referral, we have a very extensive group of specifically lawyers, which would fit in that group, but also real estate. We're in every facet of real estate because, referral. We got investors, we have brokers, we have realtors, we've got property management, we've got commercial investment, big properties that have hundreds of units that we do the accounting for. Very interesting stuff. We're in the construction space. We have restaurants. So very varied. I always say to owners, you the same as myself. It feels very specific, your accounting, and it feels like nobody's going to understand the back end of your business. And the reality is 80% of accounting is GAAP accounting, and it's the structure that we know and we get right. And it's that final 20% that is industry specific. Do
Mm.
you have cost accounting? Do you have, are you a nonprofit? So you require a different language. We do, some nonprofits as well. And it's that last 20% where we really shine and we step in and say, what do you need? How does your business run? What other softwares do you use? And we'll come in, we're very software heavy, and we like to learn new softwares. So we will come in and get to know those and try to make efficiencies, from because we get to see hundreds of back ends of businesses. So we see what works, what doesn't, what somebody else is doing in your industry that might be useful to you. So that's a big bonus to not just
Oh
having
yeah.
one employee that only focuses on your company.
Oh yeah. And the fact that you're seeing what everybody else is doing and what's working and what's not, and you
Yeah.
can see the problems, like especially software and online subscriptions that we all have to have for our businesses, but they add up, right?
Mhm.
But which ones are more efficient? Which ones are really are working or not working? And if you're
Yes.
seeing across the board that this particular software or app or whatever it's called, across the board, other people are having the same issues with it, that might be a good conversation to have and let people know, like, well, maybe this isn't the right tool. Maybe there's a different tool that can work a little bit better for you.
Exactly. Yep. We come
Yeah.
in and we're real proactive with our communication and try to help make those decisions from what we've experienced.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Now I don't know if it's, you hear a lot about CFOs, like external CFOs. Is that similar to what you're doing, or you're just naming it something different, just so the people listening get
Yeah.
get to know the difference?
So there's two kind of takes that I have on this. We have real fractional CFO firms that we partner with that we do not do what they do, and
Okay.
that they may or may not offer bookkeeping, but generally the ones that we work with don't. And they're
Mhm.
phenomenal at what they do. They do aim for a larger company. And so
Mm.
that's going to be those bigger firms that maybe have the budget and the need for the higher level analytical that they are doing. And we will absolutely share our clients over to them when they have that need. Now, there is what I like to say is more of an entry level that we do cover separate from, say, our monthly bookkeeping package, which is our primary that we do. I take my time in the company. I don't work in the day to day anymore. I do all biz dev client relations. And then a subset of my time, so I only take a handful of clients at a time. We do like a very low level contract CFO controllership where we're helping the smaller firms that aren't ready for those bigger CFO firms. And we're helping create forecasts. We're helping create accountability goals and have monthly calls with me that we are actually going through and saying, okay, where are we on the plan? Where do we need to tweak? Let's actually analyze your numbers and take a look. So it's kind of bite size for the companies that aren't yet ready for that bigger, more expensive firm. And we
Love it.
generally only do that for our internal clients just to help them get to the next step on planning.
Yeah, no, that's great. Because I know that question is out there because I run into a lot of fractional CFOs and I'm like, huh, if I'm thinking this, I wonder how many people are asking that same question. So thank you so much for clarifying. Uh,
Yes.
and I know you also mentioned that you're all over the country too. You're not just limited to a certain couple states, correct?
Yes. Yep. We have clients in about 30 states right now. We are aiming to be in all 50 here in the next, couple years. So one of the goals we have out there, but we can serve in any industry in any state.
That's pretty awesome. What's your favorite thing about what you do?
Mm, Honestly, the community that it creates. I'm to a place anymore where I am so driven that the I would softly say this, that the normal, population of W-2 people, I don't resonate a lot with them. We just have different goals, we have different views, are focused on different things. I have
Yeah,
to take care of an entire team of people and I have to
right.
perform, and I'm thinking of their livelihood and their mental state. And most people in their life don't do that. They don't need to do that. So my community of people are other entrepreneurs. So my favorite thing about what that I do is engaging with other owners as often as possible because we just have a synergy that's so fun. And that fuels me to keep doing what I'm doing.
I love that answer. And here's the thing, because you commented on, being an entrepreneur, business owner versus being a W-2 employee. Being a business owner is a very lonely world, right?
Yeah, it
We
can be.
have, yeah, I mean, unless we surround ourselves, which I know you and I do, we surround ourselves with other business owners. And because we have different conversations, we have different worries,
Yes.
and different, different positive things too. Like, but it can be lonely if you don't have the right people to, like, you need to ask them a question. Like, we don't have the water cooler conversation that some W-2 employees have. We need to go out and find those groups that we can go have that water cooler conversation and be like, wow, this is something, I've been struggling with. And what are you doing for that? Or, hey, this is a new software that I've been using and it's really changed everything for me. It's amazing. Like, to have those conversations with other business owners, I think is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's everything.
Yeah.
I think that I agree with you. Entrepreneurship can be lonely, but if you're listening to this and you resonate with that and you are finding it lonely, there are solutions. I am very proactive in getting myself in front of other business communities because it's where it's at, and I don't want to be lonely. I already moved out to a rural farm and run my company and don't engage with people a lot, so it's imperative that I go out and meet other owners.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So, if people wanted to learn more about you and your company and what you're doing, where would they go learn more about that?
Yeah, please come check us out. We're TeKoda Accounting. We own, the website TeKodaAccounting.com and of course all the social handles in all the places. So check us out. We are definitely culture first and value for our clients. And we do what we say. So we'd love to work with you.
That's awesome. So, here's a question I'd like to ask my women professionals. What are some of the challenges that you have faced as a professional woman?
Mm. I'm really interested in this thought process right now that I've been hearing about that our world has been shaped by men for men. And I find that really prevalent right now that I think because it's all we've ever known, oftentimes we're not even noticing that that's what the issue is because it's all the only environment we've had. Now that I'm aware of this, I'm stepping away more and I'm observing, well, why is this done the way that it is in every facet of life? And you can identify where things have been molded, or I mean, even I heard I love listening to podcasts, and they were talking about this the other day, and even the safety in a car. There are statistics to say that men fare better in accidents because the seatbelt was designed for their body. I mean, it goes so, so deep in our culture and our community. And I really feel like it's kind of typical, but to go back to like the Sarah Blakely example of
Mhm.
Spanx, she stepped into an environment for women that was made by men. And if more of us female entrepreneurs are identifying these opportunities, there is so much business opportunity to go out and to be a leading female and to make change that is really important to what we need. And I do believe that we are the center of our communities. We're the heart and soul of our families generally, and therefore the heart and soul we can be in our business communities as well. So I just see a lot of opportunity in that, and that's exciting to me.
I love that vantage point. That is really, and as you're saying it, I'm thinking about a couple of things. Like, somebody told me, like, if you've ever noticed, doors can be very heavy. Well, because
Mhm.
men, they were designed more for men than women. Like, I know sometimes I'll go in somewhere, I'm like, oh, I need two hands for this door. It's crazy heavy.
Yes. Yep. I know. I've met a door or two that I've struggled to open for sure.
That's so funny. All right, that's really good intel. I like that. And then, so let's pretend you get in a time machine, because I know you have a lot of years ahead of you. But what's your vision of retirement?
Oh gosh. I think retirement's a little bit different for me. I live my life now where we don't know what brings tomorrow. We don't know what our health will be. We just don't know. So I try to live a blended life where I don't wait for opportunities.
Nice.
It's the entire reason I mentioned that we live rurally. I had the opportunity to run my business virtually. So we moved across country, bought a farm, we rescue horses. My daughter rides every day. I'm not a writer, but I love to take care of them and engage with them. I think the energy they give off is just really relaxing for me. And so it's two part. I live today to try to take opportunities that a lot of people would wait for tomorrow so that my life feels fulfilled now, but I'm also more engaged in what I want to do professionally because my cup is being filled. So my retirement answer is I hope that I feel maybe much farther than other people to continue to stay engaged in the professional world, such that I can to some extent because I'm dually living a fulfilled private life while doing my professional life. So I'm not one that's looking for retirement at 40, retirement at 50. I want to go and I want to shake up the industry and the, entrepreneurial world as it is. So I gotta stick with it for a long time.
I love it. Oh my goodness. Who knew I was going to have so much fun with this podcast? That's
That's why
awesome.
we have to go meet each other
I
because you just don't
know.
know. I just saw another clip today that the gal said, we all think as we get older, we've met our friends.
Mhm.
And the reality is you don't know who you're going to meet tomorrow. And it
No.
might end up being, and not everybody has to be your closest lifelong friend, but it might be a really interesting conversation. So why
Yeah.
stop meeting people?
Yeah. No, I agree. I agree. That's awesome. And I know I've met a lot of women friends and male friends, but I mean, I've met a lot of newer friends over the past years, just being a business owner and getting out there and trying to meet new people. And then as we go evolve through life, we meet parent friends, because we
Yeah.
have kids and stuff like that, and it just evolves. So yeah, I agree with that 100%. It's pretty cool.
Well, and I would add to that even that like how many women do we hear that get into their, later 30s, 40s, 50s and beyond and they're like I am in the best time of my life. I know who I am. I'm
Yep.
very clear about my goals. Well, why wouldn't you in that chapter of your life actively go meet other women that are in that same space? Not that the old relationships are not still valuable, but that was a different chapter of life. They're in different chapters of life. Like I want to go find other females that we have synergy today and I can take them with me, on my path forward. That excites me.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And I will let everybody know that Tevia is definitely committed to networking and meeting new people because we met at a conference, a women's conference, and she flew into it, and it was a very local thing, but that's how we met. So
Mhm.
kudos to you for like, really doing it. So that's pretty fun. I love that.
Yeah, I mean, we put our words where our actions are, and I go all over the country doing different things, and I'm happy to get on a plane.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's pretty cool. And I think our action item today should be something along those lines, like challenge yourself to
Yes.
get out of, your comfort zone. It's hard to get out of there, and then we do have to put real pants on sometimes to do that, not yoga pants, which I love my yoga pants. But challenge yourself to step out of that comfort zone and just maybe go meet a few new people. It doesn't mean they have to be your besties, your new, your lifelong friends or anything. But as you grow your circle, as you age, you find you have different needs. So that I think would be a good action item for everybody today.
I agree. Go
All
get uncomfortable.
right, cool. And thank you so much for being with me today. I really appreciate you taking the time and I love hearing about your company
You too, Regina. Thank you so much for having me today.
all the time. I want to thank everyone else for joining us. Again, I'm Regina McCann Hess, president of Forge Wealth Management. My website is forgewealth.com. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Forge Wealth, and on LinkedIn, it's Regina McCann Hess. Go make it a great day. Thank you for joining me for this episode of the Women in Wealth podcast. You can watch the founder's video I created for you to learn more about me and how I can guide you towards your financial independence at www.forgewealth.com. The information in this podcast is educational and general in nature and does not take into consideration the listener's personal circumstances. Therefore, it is not intended to be a substitute for specific, individualized financial, legal, or tax advice. To determine which strategies or investments may be suitable for you, consult the appropriate qualified professional prior to making a final decision. Securities are offered through LPL Financial, member FINRA, and SIPC. Investment advice offered through Private Advisor Group, a registered investment advisor. Private Advisor Group and Forge Wealth Management are separate entities from the LPL Financial. Our show guests and their companies are not affiliated with nor endorsed by LPL Financial, Private Advisor Group, or Forge Wealth Management.